Hello, everyone. Decided to do a somewhat short stream. Pretty basic. We have all Mega Pokemon all the way up to ZA. I guess I'm going to call it 1.0 up till ZA release. So we don't have some of the other things showing off, like the Raichus or Delphox and Chestnut. But everything that's currently in the game. And I figured we'd rank Mega Pokemon. Obviously, this also does not have the Gen 3 starters, or Latios Latios, or Rayquaza. I will tell you where I will put them toward the end of this, as well as discussing Delphox, Chestnut, and the Raichus. Quick disclaimer, I'm going over only confirmed megas, as much as I do know what some potential other megas might be. I only want to go over those that are confirmed. Some of these I'll talk about competitive viability, personal opinions on the Mon and design, things of that nature. Well, also, this is my opinion. Feel free to leave your thoughts and opinions down below. Let's start with August's mascot here, Mega Venusaur. It's always been a decent Mon. I would definitely say it's an improvement over regular Venusaur. I actually don't mind the design. We give it a solid 7 out of 10. Good typing, great ability. Overall, pretty decent Mon. Charizard X. As much as Charizard, I think, is an absolutely overrated Mon, this is possibly the best form of Charizard. Didn't care for its G-Max. We'll get to why. But this form, Dragon Fire, good typing, great design, great coloration of said design, good competitively. Deserves a solid 9 out of 10. It's not the top of the line, because again, I think Charizard is overrated in general, but it's up there, it's up there. Why? I'm going to give it a 7. It is competitively pretty decent, cause especially doubles wise, because Drought go Burr. It does seem like a more natural Mega to Charizard as opposed to the X variant. But I also feel like they didn't do a lot design wise with it. I mean, they changed the swings a little bit, but there wasn't a lot that they did with the Mon. So it doesn't stand out as much as X does. Blastoise. Giving this one a 7 too. I'm kind of conflicted. I almost want to put it at 6. But I'm going to leave it here. No, I'm putting it at 6 for a specific reason. As much as I don't mind its design overall, I dislike that they got rid of the 2 back cannons and just gave it one big one. I feel like that's kind of a bit of a downgrade to Blastoise in that respect, and I know they gave it like the ones on the hands, but it would have been cool to have 2 on the back, 2 on the hands. I think that would have been better. Overall, though, it's not a bad Mon. Mega Launcher is quite nice, but it means you're running Water Pulse instead of Surf most of the time. You get Aura Sphere, Dark Pulse, things of that nature. So it's not a bad Mon, but its design is where I think it's lacking the most, solely for the canon reasons. Beedrill. This is personal bias. I'll let you all know now. This is 1000% personal bias. This is one of my favorite megas of all time. Good moveset, great ability, pretty good design. I haven't really brought shinies into this because most of them have been kind of meh. I'd say really probably Venusaur has been the best so far. Beedrill shinies amazing though. Love the green on it. Good Mon, competitively viable, adaptability, it hits hard. Good stats. Love Beedrill. Pidgeot. I think this. I'm gonna put it 5 out of 10. Its design's okay. I actually don't mind it. The biggest issue with it is its moveset for me. It gets Hurricane, whatever normal type special move you can give it, and Heat Wave, and then it's kind of like left. It's some mediocre moves at the end. Doesn't have a lot of versatility as a Mon. With no guard, I wish they would have done more with it. Decent ability though. It makes use of no guard with Hurricane at least. So it could be worse, but if I was going to pick a Mega, this is not the one I would choose. But I don't think it's terrible. Like, this is like the mid tier. I'm gonna do a little bit of research real quick, just so I can get my effects right. So, Mega Clefable basically gets the 100 stat point upgrade all Megas get. I don't know if they put 10 into attack, but they did. The 20 into the defense is nice. What is it? 40 into... Yeah, 40 special attack, I think. 20, and that's a 70, I think. Overall, its stat distribution when it Megas isn't terrible. We don't know what ability it has, so that's kind of a to be seen thing. Depending on what ability it has, this pick could go up or down. If it has a really garbage ability, it'll definitely go down from where I'm going to put it. If it has a really good ability, it may go way up. But I don't think the extra 20s into the stats of special defense and defense are worth gaining 3 weaknesses. Because it goes from only being weak to 2 typings that are relatively good, being poison and steel, to also being weak to electric, which is a very prevalent type, rock, which is a prevalent type, especially mixed with its other major weakness, and then ice, which is kind of meh. Most ice types are physical attackers, and its defenses still aren't great when it megas. It is better, but I just don't think it has enough bulk behind it to warrant losing an item slot and gaining 3 weaknesses. But I love its design. So for that, I'm going to put it with Pidgeot, just because we don't know abilities yet. So this mon can go... I would say it can go as low as 3, or even up to 8, if it has, like, filter or something for its ability. Alakazam. This is our first 8. Maybe being hypercritical, but Alakazam has fantastic stats. It is a fantastic Mega. I don't much care for its design, though. I think its design, for me, is where it lacks the most. I think that's the one thing I would improve a little bit. I don't know how I feel about, like, it has 5 spoons now, and, like, now it has a long beard, and that's that's pretty much it. But overall, pretty decent mon. Victreebel. We don't know abilities yet, so this thing can go up or down. Grass Poison is known not to be a terrible type. Decent resists. It's not weak to much. It's like Fire, Flying, Psychic, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not bad. Its design is very derpy, and I think it is a design that you rather love it because it's derpy, or you hate it. And if you hate it, you really hate it, and if you love it, you really love it. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of it being a mixed attacker, stat-wise. It has a little bit of bulk behind it, but it's not as much as I would have liked. So for those reasons, I'm gonna put it at 7. If its stats were a bit better spread, or once we find the ability, may go up or down. I'd say if it has a trash ability, it'll go to 6. If it has a good one, it'll go to 8 with Alakazam. Slowbro, my boy. So JJ is biased on this one too. It is one of my favorite megas. This thing, defense-wise, is almost untouchable. The issue is most of the types it's weak to are special attackers. Because it's weak to Bug, which is primarily physical, but depends on the bug type, I guess. Grass is mainly special. Electric's mainly special. Darks kinda can go either way. Ghost are mainly special. So it's overall okay with, the 80, 95. Its defense and decent special attack are kind of what throws it over the edge. I would say it's better than Clefable. I wouldn't say it's as good as Alakazam. It's kind of a bulk mod, but it does get recovery. I'll put it at 7. I think if it had even some semblance of a bit more special defense, I would have put it 1 higher. But special defense only being 80, most of the things it's weak to are special. But I would use this mon. I have used this mon, actually. Do recommend. Gengar. I'm putting it in 8, okay? My issue with Gengar, number one, stems from bad experiences, because I'm biased downwards on this thing. But the mon itself is pretty good. Great moveset, great stats. It gets Shadow Tag, and I think Shadow Tag's cheese. But my biggest issue comes from the fact that originally, I say originally because this got changed, it went from having Levitate, which is a fantastic ability for Gengar. It negates its ground type weakness, to having Cursed Body. And then Mega-wise, it loses Levitate for Shadow Tag. And I don't think it's worth the trade-off. Shadow Tag's a kind of cheese ability, so I definitely think the mon itself is good. I just wish it had a better ability, or a different ability that wasn't used for cheese tactics. Kangaskhan. I'm going to put it in 8. Actually, no, I'm going to put it in 7. I'm not a big fan of the design. It's kind of basic. The good thing about Kangaskhan is when it came out, its ability was broken. Parental Bond, this thing dominated meta. Nowadays, Parental Bond got nerfed. It's not as good, but it's still pretty good. Its design's the main thing that holds this thing back. Definitely could have looked better. Staryu. Now, I'm going to pull up this thing's stats, because I know this thing's stats are goated. It is probably, not Staryu, Starmie. It's probably one of the best stat spreads of any Mega, to be honest, with everyone. The issue is I hate this thing's design so much. I'm putting it in 5 solely because it has fantastic stats, but I despise the design. I can't get over it. I wouldn't use this mon despite how strong it is, unless its ability is pure power, which some people have speculated. But I personally would not choose this mon. Moving on, Pinsir. Ooh. Actually, yeah, I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to put Pinsir at 9. I like Mega Pinsir. It did gain major weaknesses, sadly, with it gaining Electric, Ice, Fire, because it became, or not Fire, an extra Rock weakness because it became Flying type. That all being said, this thing is pretty speedy. This thing hits like a truck. Its design is fantastic. So overall, it's probably, with its weaknesses, I'm almost talking myself out of it, but also with Aerialate and its attack stat being so high and its speed stat being decent, I'm gonna leave it where it is for now. I might change this one later. I might drop it down to 8. Overall, don't mind this mon. Gyarados. It has Mold Breaker, if I'm not mistaken. It doesn't have the best ability. It's not the worst, but it's not the best. Becomes Water Dark, so it loses an immunity, but it does also lose a quad weakness. Gains an immunity to Psychic. I think my biggest issue with this is it just something it feels like there's more that could have been done. I'm gonna put it at a solid 7 though. I don't think it's bad. I just think it's lacking in some sort of area. Is it actually its stats? Let me check. I'm pulling up stats on the side because it's just easier to talk about. That explains it. It's lacking speed. Speed is where it lacks. It's 81 speed. Good attack, good defenses though. So overall, it's not a bad mon. I like its design. Its design's amazing. It looks kind of like a giant shrimp though when it's shiny. I know the only one I've talked about shiny with is Beedrill. Good shiny, fantastic shiny, meh, fantastic, meh, decent, great, meh, interesting, okay, dog shit, meh. Just a quick run over of the ones we've already ranked. Aerodactyl. So, for those who don't know, I have a good friend, Aiden, and he uses Mega Aerodactyl a lot in Draft League. I love this thing's design. It has great offensive prowess. It has Tough Claws, which is a fantastic ability. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I almost want to give it 10 out of 10 just to troll the shit out of Aiden because he keeps missing Dual Wing Beat. And Stone Edge and Rock Slide and whatever else. It's just a theme with him. But overall, it has decent moveset, makes good use of its ability. Decent typing. So yeah, not bad. Dragonite. Now this is something I need to look at the stats for. Again, all these EA mons don't have abilities at the moment. And that's what's kind of messing me up ranking wise, because until I have those, it's hard to get a definitive rank. But Dragonite being a pseudo, gaining 100 points, it's already immediately better than most mons. Becoming a mixed attacker still. D-Dance is a thing. Still the base 100 speed. I actually kind of wish they would have increased it by like 2 points, just make it that slight edge. But overall, great bulk. Like, I don't think I can... The design is divisive amongst people, so I'm going to put it at 9. I personally don't mind it, especially when it's shiny. It takes on the Dragonair coloration. But overall, I don't mind this. So yeah, shout out to Dragonite, man. Meganium. Full biased here. This mon competitively is great. I personally like its design. Its typing's amazing. Minus being quad weak to poison, but it is what it is. We don't know its ability, though. This is easily one of, if not the best starters, near one we'll get to later. Feraligatr. Again, we don't know abilities. Going off stat-wise and design, actually stat and design-wise, Feraligatr is going to be the first thing put in 4. I think this is the second worst design next to Starmie in the entirety of the new game. New Mon-Wax. Its stats aren't great. It mainly gets a bunch of attack, which is fine, but they don't increase its speed by much at all. It is the slowest starter, Megad. And even unmegad, I think it's the slowest objectively. You get the point. Not a great speed stat. Yes, it gets D-Dance, but I don't like its typing's good, but I don't think D-Dance does enough to save it at only base 70 speed. 70, 75, whatever it is. So low that Meganium outspeeds it, and Meganium didn't get a boost to its speed stat. Meganium just stayed at base 80. Shout out Meganium, though. Ampharos. No, not down there. I don't know how to feel about Ampharos. Its design's a little awkward. Its typing's pretty decent. Its shiny's good. Its stats are even halfway decent. Its ability's kind of meh. So it's like I wish there was more to it. Like I wanted more from Ampharos, but I wouldn't say it's a bad mega. Does get D-Pulse, so nice stab. It's not the worst thing, it's just not the best. Steelix. I actually don't mind Steelix's design. I think Steelix has a great design. Increases its bulk and attack power even more, as it should with Steelix. Once again, we want to bring up abilities. I'm pretty sure it has Mold Breaker again. Let me check Steelix. Oh, it has Sand Force. Its ability is kind of terrible, but if you're running a sand team and like doubles, it's fine. Trick Room teams, this thing dominates, and 230 physical defense is kind of nutty. So yeah, I don't think the Mon's bad. I wouldn't say it's amazing. Well, I don't know. I'm a little biased on this, but I definitely think it deserves 8 out of 10. Scizor. Oh, Scizor. Let me look at your stats. I guess if I'm going to bring stats into this, I just need to like pull up every mega. So the best advantage of Scizor is its typing. It's only weak to fire, but it is a quad weakness. That being said, it only gains 10 points of speed, which I wish was more. But it has fantastic bulk. I don't know if they increased its special attack at all. They could have given it another 10 points of speed and it'd be okay. Overall, though, because its only weakness is fire, I'm going to give it 6. I think you'd rather have a regular Scizor with like Life Orb. I think it hits harder. Technician is nice, but even regular Scizor gets it. So it's like, yeah. I just think you'd rather run something else as your mega. Decent design, though. Decent design. Heracross. My issue with Heracross is its design. I don't care much for the giant ball arms. That being said, it has okay stats. It's not the worst. Let me check its speed stat. Oh, well, other thing. Heracross loses speed when it megas. This is supposed to be an attacker. Instead it like goes into bulk. I think you'd have rather just had a hard, fast-hitting physical attacker. But it is what it is. Kind of feels like it got the Scizor treatment almost, except it's quad weak to flying and has even more weaknesses than Scizor. Skill Link is good though. Skill Link good. Skarmory. Once again, don't know abilities. But I feel like this thing is a monster. It does swap its bulk out that normal Skarmory is known for pure speed and offensive power. And even then, it keeps some of its bulk. I mean, over 100 in both defenses, 140 attack, 110 speed. This thing's a monster. And if it gets a halfway decent ability, it'll be even better. So, any of the ZA specific megas, take with a grain of salt. I might redo this when we find abilities out, come back, revisit, and swap around some of the ones. Because if Dragonite gets multi-scale, it's even better. I'll honestly put it at 10 out of 10. Depending on what Meganium gets, it could go up or down. Skarmory can go up or down. You know, things of that nature. Houndoom, go there. Its design's great. Its mega itself is not great. This thing has, I think, solar power, which not only does it require the sun to activate its ability, which on its own isn't terrible. I mean, as I've already stated, Steelix is, requires that. But solar power makes you lose HP. It functions like a life orb. They couldn't just let you have the boost, because that would have been too broken, I guess. Its stats are decent, 90 all around minus special attack and speed. Speed's at 115, attacks at 140. It's not terrible stats, it's just its ability sucks, and that's why you'll never see anyone use it. It honestly might as well not have an ability. It's kind of in the same boat as Scar, actually. The real question is does this and Skarmory have the same stats? Almost. Skarmory's 5 points slower. But we don't know Skarmory's ability. Overall, I would say this thing would be great if they, got rid of solar power. Or changed how solar power works, either or. T-Tar, I guess T-Tar's okay. It's not the worst thing in the world. I don't know if you'd rather Mega T-Tar or not. Let me look at ability-wise. It falls in... T-Tar, honestly, is this high. Probably because it's a pseudo. I mean, its design's pretty decent, but if it wasn't a pseudo, I don't think I would rank it this high. The thing that saves T-Tar is it is a pseudo. Its ability, when Mega, it is Sandstream. The issue with that is it falls into one of these where regular T-Tar has Sandstream as its main ability. So what's the point of Megaing unless you wait all the way until your Sandstream runs out? That's 5 turns. It's like at that rate, you'd rather just run the rock that increases Sandstream time. So, being quad weak to fighting and having a bunch of other weaknesses, I just don't think Mega T-Tar is worth it over base T-Tar. I think you'd rather Mega something else. Gardevoir. Gardevoir went from being a 10 out of 10 upon release because all the 8 abilities, Pixelate, Aerialate, all of those abilities are like Refrigerate. All of them were really, really good. And they nerfed the power, so I would say Gardevoir comes down to a 9 because of that nerf. Maybe, actually, I'm going to put it down at 8. It got a lot worse with that ability, or with the ability being changed like that. I still don't think it's bad. Hyper Voice is still like her best Insult Fairy move. Strong, Psychic, Fairy Mon. Psychic Fairy's a good type. I think she could be better, though. Sableye. I'm going to give Sableye a 7 because I adore its design. The design of the gym coming out the chest and stuff was really cool. It has a decent ability, decent stats. That being said, I don't know. If I'm not mistaken, this thing gets Prankster, and I don't know if it's worth losing that. I honestly think with Mega Sableye, you might have rather just had the Prankster instead of Magic Bounce. But overall, it's still not bad. Magic Bounce is still a good ability. Just could be better. Mawile. Oh, Mawile. Why stop highlighting things? Adaptability. Steel Fairy, one of the best typings in the game. I don't think I need to say more. Monster attack stat, great with Trick Room teams. While relatively slow, it hits like a garbage truck to the face. Love Mega Maw. Aggron. I'm going to put Aggron at 6. It has a good ability, which gives it no weaknesses. It drops the rock type. My issue with Aggron is I hate its design so much. So stat-wise, and like competitive-wise, decent Mon. Its look is just not there for me. It is not visually appealing. Medicham. Medicham gets 7. Medicham itself, its design's a little awkward, but it has great stats. Pure Power is so broken on this thing. And it's not one of the sand abilities or another ability we're coming up on where it like resets the weather, which it was not needed. Overall, pretty decent Mon. Pure Power definitely bumps it. On to one I probably know the least about. Manectric. I forgot to see. Okay, this thing gets Intimidate. This isn't terrible. I wouldn't say it's the best. But the Lightning Bolt design's okay. Sorry guys, I'm a little tired. Decent stats, 135 speed, 135 special attack. It's a monster. Wish I had the moveset to compensate. That might be changing though. So, not bad, not bad. Sharpedo. Does this thing get Strong Jaw when it megas? Actually forgetting here. It does get Strong Jaw. Okay. I'm gonna move Sharpedo. Sharpedo can go on 8. Its design's decent. It didn't change a lot besides getting a giant ass nose. Kind of looks like a ship, which I think was the point, but it's a little awkward. Hits like a truck. It has speed boost in its previous form. Send it out, protect, grab the speed boost, Mega Evolve Strongjaw. So overall, it's good. The issue is one of its typings he doesn't have anything to get Strongjaw boosted. So hey, Game Freak, if you really want to make Mega Sharpedo busted, give this thing Vicious Rend. I promise you, it'll be worth it to hear everyone complain about this mon from literally every point in the future and put it in Ubers. Camerupt. Oh, Camerupt. I don't think its stats are bad, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, what are your stats? Yeah, its stats not bad, but this thing is slower than Christmas. 100%. And it's a mixed attacker. It has okay bulk, but it's quad weak to water. It's weak to ground. Like, it has a decent amount of weaknesses. It's just kind of like what I like to call a big bucket of not worth Mega Ink. On top of that, I mean, it has sheer force, so it hits even more like a truck. But it's so slow. You're never going to get it off. You're going to catch a Liquidation, a Surf, literally anything, and you're going to be out of there. Altaria. I'm going to throw it here with Guardy. It's kind of the same thing. Pixelate hurt it a bit, being nerfed. And unlike Pinsir, the thing with Pinsir and why Pinsir, in my opinion, is higher is, even though Aerialate got hit, Pinsir needs Aerialate regardless if it's going to be a flying type, because otherwise it doesn't really have much besides, I think, Aerial Ace. But they use fairy types of things like Moonblast and things of that nature, so it's like, yeah, it's a boost, but like, is the boost worth it to take it the whole ability slot to like a one move? I think that's kind of the argument. So overall, though, Fairy Dragon, the only one we got so far. Good type. Banette. Does this thing get Prankster? I'm gonna leave it there real quick. It's gonna go higher, guys. It does have Prankster. Honestly, I think I'm gonna boost it to 7. It has a pretty decent design, good ability. You don't care about its speed stat. You're using this to set up status. That being said, I really wish they wouldn't have given it such a high attack stat. If it's gonna have Prankster, it's gonna be mainly I'm gonna be Will-O-Wisping and stuff of that nature. I feel like the 165 attack stat isn't needed, as opposed to the abysmal defense stats. So definitely could have been better, but overall it's not terrible. Absol. Oh, Absol. So this thing has magic bounce, just like the Sableye. It is not a bad ability. Actually honestly quite good. I actually love this mon. The issue is the ability is strictly defensive for a mon that should be offensive. Maybe if they would have given it the fairy type when it megaed, it would have been better. But it stays pure dark. Stays an offensive mon, it just gains like magic bounce pretty much, and I don't think it's worth using your item slot for, personally. Glalie. Oh, I should preference. Absol's only up this high because of personal preference. Glalie is fine. It has Refrigerate. It's the last of the 8 abilities that we haven't discussed. The issue is when you use it with Glalie, you'd rather use it with Return, which is actually pretty good, or you choose everything and click Explosion, which is funny, but I wouldn't say killing the mon makes the mon, like, using a move that kills your mon doesn't make the mon good, because at best you're trading 1 for 1, and at worst, it still lives in your Glalie dice, and there's your Megagon. It's also, I don't think, super fast, so there's that. Salamence. Salamence is going to stay at 8 solely, and I do mean solely, because of the pseudo. Like, it's a decent mega, it has Aerialate, just like Pinsir, and it's also needed to be ran, like Pinsir. But, I mean, quad weak to ice kind of still hurts Salamence. Unless you can OHKO the ice type, or the thing with an ice type move, the Salamence is going to die in a hit, and it's going to be very unfortunate. But it is still a pseudo. I have to give credit where credit is due to pseudos. They're based at total 700 when they mega. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, I think 8's a good spot for it. I also hate its design, the freaking crescent roll wings. So stupid, bro, but it's funny. Here's our first 10 out of 10. Mega Metagross. This thing is a monster. Tough Claws on this thing. Tough Claws on a pseudo legend can suck a dick. Hate this one. So good. Psychic Steel is fantastic. This thing has a great moveset. It's fast. It hits like a truck. Good design, as much as I hate to admit it. Good design. This mon is the bane of my existence sometimes. Lopunny. This is full bias. I don't care. Full bias. 10 out of 10. Best mon. Put simply, gains fighting type, which gives it a few more weaknesses, but it's not terrible. Decent moveset, great stats. Scrappy ability, so you ain't got to worry about getting walled by a ghost type, which is quite nice. Which I'm pretty sure she already gets like knockoff anyway, but yeah, good mon, good mon. Garchomp Mega. I'm gonna change the things around there. Garchomp's Mega is only so high in Smogon because Garchomp is OU. This Mega would not be as high as it is if Garchomp wasn't OU. This Mega is great design, great design. I'll preface that, but its stat spreads so terrible. It becomes slow and lumbering. Its abilities non-existent. It loses everything that makes Garchomp good, and I'm pretty sure Garchomp with Life Orb is just as good as this mon, if not better. So, not worth it. Lucario. I'm going to give Lucario a 10 out of 10. I think its design's pretty good. Has adaptability, which is fantastic. It hits like a truck. Good versatility in both physical and special. Still a decent speed stat. It's also one of the first megas you get in X and... Well, it is the first mega you get in X and Y, technically. So, honestly, deserves the 10 out of 10 spot. It is probably a little overrated, like Charizard. Abomasnow. Yeah, this is the 1 out of 10. Number one, its design's mediocre at best and absolutely awful at worst. On top of that, this thing is quite weak to fire, as well as having a slew of other weaknesses thanks to being Ice Grass type. On top of that, it doesn't get helpful ability. Doesn't get something like Filter or Thick Fat to help reduce any of its weaknesses. This thing keeps no warning. And Abomasnow, just like with T-Tar, already gets no warning, you know? So there's no point of weathering into a weather. It makes no sense. Unfortunate. Mega Gallade, I'm going to keep it 6. Its ability might as well not exist at the moment. But there have been some speculations that this might go to Sharpness. And if it gets Sharpness as its ability, this thing will go up tiers, like to 9 probably, and will jump that much. But as it stands, Inner Focus is its ability. It's not great. I don't personally care a lot for its design. It's okay, but honestly reminds me of a Yu-Gi-Oh player. As a Yu-Gi-Oh player. Frostlass. I'm gonna actually look at your stats because that's really all I had to judge you off of minus looks. Decent speed, decent special attack. Okay. I definitely think Frostlass is better than her counterpart. Depending on the ability. Again, don't know abilities, so that hurts. Yeah. Man, not having abilities for this really hurts some of these mons. But if it has a good ability, she can go higher. Honestly, probably even up to 10 out of 10. If she has a bad ability, she'll probably go down to where Glalie is. Her stats are just good enough alone to carry her, as long as her ability doesn't hinder her, like with Houndoom, where it actively hurts the mon, she'll be okay. Emboar. Okay. As much as I like to punk on Aiden, his mascot's Mega is pretty decent. 75, good bulk. Its defenses aren't great, but it makes up for that. I'm going to give it right there with Frostlass. We don't know abilities. Hopefully this thing gets Reckless. It only makes sense. It's a good ability. Excadrill. Same kind of thing. I'm pretty sure Excadrill gets extra bulk. It is still fast as shit. It still hits hard. Probably hits harder. I can guarantee you. Yeah, definitely hits harder. A lot harder. Its speed is now 103, so it went up a decent chunk. No, like, what is that, 25? Yeah, 20, no, 15, whatever. Speed went up, has some okay defenses, but you don't really care about that. This thing's a sweeper. It hits like a truck. Pretty sure it has just as much attack as the Mega Feraligatr has a good typing relatively with ground steel. Yeah. Poor Feraligatr, man. Audino. The mod itself isn't that good. Its mega's not really that great. Um, its designs mediocre. Its stats are present. Its ability is present. It's a Bulkmon, though. There's not much you can say about it, man. It's just not great. Scolipede, personal bias, 10 out of 10. I love this mod. It does lose its speed, which is very unfortunate. But like with Sharpedo, you can't stack speed boost beforehand with Protect. Also on that note, it might keep speed boost when it megas, and if it does, this thing's a monster. Because its speed stats, the only place it's really lacking when it megas minus special attack that no one cares about. Gains more bulk. It is a bulky mon. Still has good attack stat. It gets increased by 40 attack. 100 defense. It's nothing to sleep on. Its designs go crazy. Love that mod. Scrafty. This is one I actually don't know a lot about. So I'm going to find out some stuff. Oh, again, obviously all ZA is no abilities, so there's not much I can do about that. Does Scrafty gain? It does gain 10 speed at least. This thing is bulk to the max. That's just all there is to it. It hits like a truck. If you can D-dance, this thing is a monster. I'll put it at 8. I think it's a good spot for it. Eelektross. I personally love this one. This mega, just like with a lot of other things, it hits hard. Eelektross did gain a bit of speed, so it's no longer slow as all get out. It is a mixed attacker, which actually plays nice with Eelektross' moveset. You can kind of mix it with things such as Thunderbolt, as well as having things like Fire Punch, Crunch, Liquidation. Good moveset, good moveset. Has some okay bulk. It's not the best, but it's there. Yeah, overall, I don't think this is bad. Its design's interesting, but I'm going to give this a 7. Nah. It's as good as Scrafty. I'll give it an 8. Chandelure. This is probably one of the new megas I know the least about, despite how cool it looks. So obviously no abilities. It has a monster special attack stat with decent speed and decent bulk to back it, and a good type. I'm putting this at 9. Oh, this mon. Do we have the stats for you? They make Greninja even more of a mixed attacker. It is frail, but it is fast. I hate the design, though. So I'm going to give it a 7. Now we get to the one I've seen a lot of people hate on its mega. But if I'm not mistaken, this thing actually makes the mon itself viable if it gets a decent ability. Yeah, still special attacking, 129 and 126 speed. Honestly, its speed stats were already fine. It's Pyro's abilities that suck. So if this gets halfway decent abilities, this thing could be a monster. I'm going to put it in 7. I think that's a pretty decent spot. I actually don't mind its design too much. The double fire symbol is interesting. Now this is one I don't know. Floet. Obviously, we know this thing grabs Mega. Those who have played through the story, this thing is fast, this thing is bulky, this thing hits hard. I would honestly say its design's honestly okay. I'd say this is a Mon. Actually, I'm gonna put it in. This is a Mon to watch out for. This thing, depending on its ability, could rather be really, really good and hurt a lot, or it could be like a terrible ability, in which case it probably won't go lower than this tier still, but it'll just be, oh man, wasted potential. Malamar. Let me check your stats. Honestly, not bad. It became mainly more specially bulky. I like its lore. I'm gonna give it an 8 with the whole hypnotizing people. Very interesting. Barbaracle. Barbaracle, I'm gonna put it number 7, mainly because its design's okay. But I wouldn't say I particularly love it. It does have great defensive stats, though. Decent speed. No, I'm gonna put it one higher, an 8. Yeah, liquidation on this thing hurts. And then when it makes it changes typing, so you can run things like close combat or brick break, stone edge, rock slide. This thing hurts. Dragalge. How do your stats improve? Oh, that's kind of sad. So Dragalge didn't get any speed, and I think everything went into like special defense, special attack. 90, 90, 123. So yeah, everything seemed to have like went into defenses pretty much. I don't know what they gave it the 10 attack. It might be pretty good on Trick Room, but I don't know if this thing has enough physical bulk to stop it from dying to an EQ. Its ability can move it up or down. I think 6 is a solid slot. I don't mind its design. It's kind of interesting. But everything really rides on this thing's ability for it to be good outside of Trick Room, pretty much. Hawlucha. This thing kept the same speed stat, gained more attack power, and some bulk. Yeah. Need I say more? As long as the ability's halfway decent, this thing is a monster. Zygarde is Zygarde. I hate its design though, so it's going in 8. It actually lost stat points when it megas, but it gains like everything in special attack. So this thing is almost a glass cannon, pretty much, quite literally, because it has a cannon above its head. But it's. I wish they would have taken Zygarde in a different direction. Up next, we have Drampa, which I know is good with Trick Room teams, or will be. God, that special attack stat is monstrous. Just because I like Drampa's design, I'm actually going to put it an 8. With a proper Trick Room team, this thing will be a monster. Really low speed stat at 136, which is kind of intentional. Any decent ability could bump this up to a 9. 160 special attack is something. With over 100 in both defenses, it's pretty much as Dragalge, roughly. I don't think Drampa has as many weaknesses as Dragalge does, actually, so that helps Drampa out. Yeah. Also, having the better special attack is also a thing, so yeah. Last but not least, Falinks. This thing in Megas is so funny to me. But decent speed stat, decent bulk, and physical attack. The ability kind of makes or breaks this mod, but I like the Megazord aesthetic. I'm going to put it at 8. This could go up or down. As with all the ZA ones. Yeah, decent stats. Funny design. I like the Megazord design. But we'll see how it pans out with ability-wise. Now, as I said before, we have the Lotties, the 3 Hoenn starters, and Mega Ray Ray, as well as I guess we'll do the primal forms. Ray Ray and the primal forms go in 10 out of 10. I mean, they're all amazing mons. It's Legends with Megas that didn't detract from the total like Zygarde. On that note, the Lotties get a solid 8 out of 10. I dislike that they both have the same design, but other than that, they're great. Now to go over the starters. Sceptile overall, because we know his ability, at least as of now, gets a 6 out of 10. It didn't need the ability it got. Definitely should have had something different, because it already quad resist electric. Being immune to it isn't that big of a deal. Gaining the dragon typing was okay, but it just made it quad weak dice, so poor Sceptile. Blaziken, 10 out of 10. One of the best megas to ever exist. Speed boost breaks that motherfucker. And if I don't put it at 10 out of 10, Sammy will murder me. So there's that. Yeah, good stats. Even if Sammy wasn't here, it'd still get a 10 out of 10. Love the design. Swampert, I would probably give a 7 out of 10. It relies on rain, but can't set rain itself. Yeah, ability-wise at least. If it had like Drizzle as its inability, and then it drizzled into Swift Swim. Overall, though, it hits like a truck. Great typing, so it's not terrible. I'm just not a big fan of the bodybuilder design. Last but not least, we have the 2 Raichus. We don't have any stats, so based off their design, I like X more. So I would put X at 8 out of 10 design-wise, and Y at a 7 out of 10 or 6 out of 10. One of those two. Alright, nice and quick list. Took me about an hour, but that's not that bad. So with that, you guys can see the list. I'm outie. Have a good day, y'all.